Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to open up the official playbook for one of the most amazing and successful groups of animals on the entire planet, mammals. We're going to figure out the core rules, what really makes a mammal a mammal. So let's just dive right in. So, to get us started, let me ask you this. What could the largest animal that has ever lived, one of the tiniest, and, well, you possibly have in common? I mean, they seem like they're from completely different worlds, right? But there is a really important connection. Any ideas? If you guessed that you're all mammals, you nailed it. That's exactly it. You, the bat, the whale, you're all members of the very same, very special club, class Mammalia. And in this explainer, we're going to go over the official membership rules for joining this incredible group. To really get what this club is all about, we need to look at 5 key features, or hallmarks. You can think of this as the definitive checklist. If an animal checks all these boxes, well, they're in.
Okay, first up, all mammals are warm-blooded. The sciencey term is endothermic. This is basically our built-in thermostat. Now, it takes a ton of energy to run, but it gives us this huge advantage. We can be active pretty much anywhere, anytime, whether it's freezing out or blazing hot. You know, when you shiver, that's your body burning fuel to warm up. And when a dog pants, it's releasing heat. It's this trait that lets mammals live all over the globe. Next on the list is something you can see on almost every mammal, hair or fur. From a polar bear's super thick coat to the few sensitive hairs on an elephant, every single mammal has it at some point. And get this, even blue whales are born with a few whiskers. This was a game changer evolutionarily, giving our ancestors the insulation they needed to survive the cold and hunt at night. Number 3 on our checklist, every single mammal, and I mean everyone, uses lungs to breathe air. This is a big one. It's the reason why dolphins and whales, who live their entire lives in the ocean, have to come up to the surface for a breath. They don't have gills like fish. They're stuck with us, forever tied to the world of air. Hallmark number 4 is probably the most famous one because, well, it's right there in the name, Mammalia, mammary glands. Female mammals produce milk. This is like the perfect superfood for their babies, creating a really strong bond and giving the young a safe period to learn and grow. This strategy is a huge reason why mammals are so successful. And our 5th and final hallmark, mammals give birth to live young. The official term is viviparous. The baby develops inside the mother, getting all its food and protection in a super stable environment before it's born. Seems like a pretty simple, straightforward rule, doesn't it? But, you know, this is biology, and nature just loves to throw us a curveball. Turns out there's a tiny little group of mammals that just decided to break that rule. Everybody meet the monotremes, the duck-billed platypus and the echidna. These two are the only mammals on the entire planet that lay eggs. They're like this amazing link to an ancient past, but they still check all the other boxes. They've got hair, they're warm-blooded, and after their babies hatch, they feed them milk. They're a perfect example that in nature, there's an exception to pretty much every rule. So let's do a super quick recap of the official checklist. Mammals are warm-blooded, have hair or fur, breathe air with lungs, produce milk, and, with a couple of very weird exceptions, they give birth to live young. There you have it. That's the code. Okay, so knowing the rules is one thing, but the sheer variety inside this club is just staggering. So let's take a look at the 3 major branches of the mammal family tree, which are all defined by how their babies are born. This table breaks it down perfectly. So first, you've got the placentals. Hey, that's us, and dogs and whales. The young grow inside the mother, hooked up to an amazing organ called the placenta, and they're born pretty well developed. Then you have the marsupials, you know, kangaroos, koalas. They give birth to a tiny, underdeveloped baby that has to crawl into a pouch to finish growing. And finally, our famous rule breakers, the monotremes, who just lay eggs. And this family, it is huge. We know of about 6,800 species of mammals on Earth. And here's a fun fact for you, more than half of all those species are rodents. Yep. That's right. Mice, squirrels, beavers, and all their cousins absolutely dominate the mammal world when it comes to numbers. With so many different kinds of mammals, it's really no surprise that the club has some unbelievable record breakers and animals with what I can only describe as actual superpowers. Let's check out some of the most extreme members. First, let's just talk about size. The range it's just mind-boggling.
At one end, you've got the tiny bumblebee bat, which weighs only 2 grams. And on the complete opposite end, the blue whale, coming in at a massive 180,000 kilograms. It's not just the biggest mammal, it's the biggest animal we know of that has ever lived, dinosaurs included.
When we're talking about speed on land, nothing can touch the cheetah. It can go from 0 to over 60 miles an hour in just 3 seconds, hitting top speeds of 70 miles per hour. It is an absolute explosion of power, an animal perfectly built to chase down prey in the open savanna.
And how about a legit superpower? Let's talk about bats, the only mammals that can truly fly. They hunt for insects in complete darkness using something called echolocation. They send out these high-pitched sounds and then listen for the echoes. It creates a detailed sound map of everything around them. It's basically biological sonar, and it is absolutely incredible. And from the tiny vat, let's go right back to the gigantic blue whale. Its call can hit 188 decibels. Now, to put that into perspective, a jet engine is only about 140 decibels. It is one of the loudest sounds made by any animal on the planet, and it's powerful enough to travel for hundreds of miles through the ocean. So from flying bats to ocean giants, it's clear the mammal family is just extraordinary. But now we have to kind of turn the focus back on ourselves, because as the most dominant mammal on the planet, we have a really unique connection and a really big responsibility for all the others in our class.
Our history as a species is completely tangled up with other mammals. We domesticated them for food, we used them for transport, we've kept them as companions. This ancient relationship has literally shaped our societies and helped humans spread to every corner of the earth. But that dominance, it's come with a price. Today, almost a quarter of all mammal species are at risk of going extinct. The single biggest threat by far is habitat loss, all driven by what we do. After that comes hunting and the massive pressures from climate change. Now, the good news here is that little slice for conservation efforts. It's a sign that we're starting to wake up and recognize our duty to protect our fellow mammals.
So the final question really isn't about their ability to adapt, it's about ours. They've conquered every corner of the planet. But how will we, their family members, help them adapt to the future that we are creating? That's the real challenge ahead of us. Thanks for joining me.